welcome back, Beowulf Nation. I'm Beowulf back here with another video. Today's video is going to be an install video. Have some parts for my 2019 Yamaha GP1800R. Alright, so what we got here is a big crucial thing you want to upgrade on these is the blow-off valve. I've already did the engine breather kit on it, which I'll show you that once I take the seat off. I'm just kind of give you guys what I'm doing. So this is all kind of the stuff you need for what's being installed. I'm installing, I can show you guys everything. So this is for the supercharged intake manifold upgrade kit. This is for a 2018 and up, so this is different than if you had a 2017 and down Yamaha supercharged. This is the performance blow-off valve kit with the intercooler piping, just for the one section. Let me just... So for installing all this, I want to do it all at once instead of doing it separate times, because you have to pull the intake manifold off to do this. Stuff you'll need to do the whole thing: drill bit, blue Loctite. This is, you have to find pipe thread sealant. This is the closest thing that I could find that I think will work. It's thread sealant that I think will work for what my application is. I was kind of seeing other stuff that they said it's pipe thread sealant. It's pretty much, I'd have to say the same thing. I think I got the right stuff. I went to a bunch of places, nobody had it, and there was not enough time to buy it online. You need a pipe tap kit. Be tapping for this right here. So that would be the vacuum line running for the HGS blow-off valve. Now there's a huge restrictor plate in the intake manifold. Let me pull the seat off and kind of show you what's all going on. Alright, so to do all this, we'll have to pull out, this has a plastic intake manifold. So this is going to be kind of complex. I'll have to remove the fuel rail. You have to relieve the pressure with doing this. It's going to leak gas. Kind of letting people know this. If you're new to this and you're ready to take on this, I mean, you have to pull the whole fuel rail system. There's drilling to get this restrictor plate out. If you aren't positive you could handle doing something like this, I highly recommend leaving it to somebody that's a professional doing this, because the last thing you want to do is be doing something that's way over than what you can handle. It's not impossible, but I like to put that out there right away, because the last thing you want to do is start doing all this and be like, holy cow, what am I doing? There's a lot of electrical stuff that has to be disconnected. The first thing before doing anything, the battery has to be disconnected, which is hidden right back there. Now there's not a lot of room to work in here, and that's the kind of thing that sucks when you have a double trailer. You got to kind of be like standing inside here or laying around that too. If you're not into doing gymnastics, sitting in here, it's not impossible. Also, the crazy thing is, there is right now, as we speak, while I'm installing this, there's a hurricane hitting the Bahamas, Category 5. Man, I've seen footage. I pray for those people. Everybody's safe. It's then hitting Florida, and now there's a talk that it's coming up here to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So instead of getting all ready for the storm, I'm like, hey, let's make an install video. So when you see this video, it's probably not the best thing when I'm doing this, but I'm like thinking, hey, at least I could get it done. It's better doing it the day before the hurricane. I got a couple days before it comes up here, but we don't know what's going on, and it's like Category 5. It's like the biggest one recorded in modern age. Yeah, it's scary. So I'm like, hey, let's get all the things I need to do this install video with doing this. The first thing I want to do too is there is an engine cover on here. I never run it because I like to have it air out, and then especially cleaning it and all this stuff when you go in the ocean and whatnot. So I already have it off. If you're removing those too, I kind of like how it looks with it off. Everybody's different what they want to do, but this is how I run my ski. So let's do the step by step and get this installed. I'm also installing both pieces at the same time, all in one video, because everything has to come all out. So I highly recommend, if you're into doing one or the other of these, do them both at the same time, and then you don't have to come back into there. If you upgrade to a different intercooler, that mounts right over here. If you're getting the Riva Racing one, I didn't go that route yet because there's other water lines and all this you have to upgrade, and I didn't really want to be going too crazy right now. That's why I just did this. The big thing why you want to put the blow-off valve in there too is for the supercharger clutch. When you're bringing air in, you need to have it be taken back out when you're off the throttle. It's kind of how a blow-off valve works. There's a very super restricted plate in here. They call it ribbon delete. I think it's different because it's all, I think the previous ones, it kind of just, you could semi get it out. This, you have to drill it out. Also too, you need a Dremel, because there'll be some plastic you have to grind down, which I have that too. I don't have it all set up here, so that's the other tool you need. There's just a lot of stuff, so be prepared. There's drilling, there's grinding down stuff, and you have to have all this out, and you have to have the fuel rails out to do this. I understand you could probably pull this out with the fuel rails attached, but because you're grinding stuff down, you don't want to get that up in there. And you want to make sure you clean this really well too. Again, if you can't do something like this, don't mess with it. Leave it to the professionals. Be a clip that would be like sitting right here. You pop the clip off, put tons of rags around, and you just pull the fuel line that way off the fuel rail. I stacked a lot of, I left it up vertically and then put a bunch of rags around there because you can smell the fumes of gasoline. Also too, make sure you have like garage door open. Don't be in closed space. It wouldn't be a smart idea. Now it's real easy getting that off. I thought it was going to be more fuel coming out. Luckily it didn't. And then the next step is removing all the plugs around there so I can take the fuel rail off. Alright, so I disconnected the coil packs, the plugs to the fuel injectors. There's 3 bolts right up here, and then there's 2 little ones hidden there. I already took them off. Now you want to pull this off and leave it in the engine vertically, meaning it should be straight up like this. Probably it says to do it in the back of the engine compartment, so I'll figure some way back up in here and then go to the next step of getting this all removed. It's not that hard, but it's, you gotta be patient and take your time. Also too, before you pull it out, there's tons of plugs. You gotta unplug these 2 that were back here. There was a plug zip tie that I had to cut the zip tie, unplug that. That's the one that goes to the top of the valve cover. There was one underneath, and yeah, so it's sitting right like that. And then on to the next step with getting this off. And actually, I don't think it would be that hard to get off. I know the previous models that had the metal intake manifold, there was a lot more harder room in here. So actually, I think this is going to be a pretty piece of cake with pulling it off. Alright, so there's a J pipe that's way down there. You have to loosen that. Don't pull it off, just unloosen the clamps that are holding it down. I've removed majority of all the bolts and brackets that are holding the intake manifold to the engine. I just have one last one to do before I pull the whole thing right off. So one step, and let's see, because I tried pulling the intercooler piping that's below there. Couldn't pull it off, so it's like really on there. So I think with this year you have to pull this off to slip that all on prior before especially I think when you put it back on is what I'm guessing. So let's unhook it. Alright, so I got it out. Just slipped out real easy because it's pretty tight on that throttle body. Yep, so it's all out. Now I gotta take that off, and then there's the whole next step to get this. I think I have to take the throttle body off next. And it's nice. Well, it has some weight to it being plastic. But yeah, it's nice that it's not like, it's not unbearably heavy. I can hold it one hand. This is it. Alright, so I already removed the throttle body. This is this restrictor plate I was telling you about. I mean, you can't even see light through it. That's without even it out. It's pretty crazy being a supercharged jet ski wave runner with having this big of a restrictor plate, but this will make a huge difference of how this thing will run once I get it pulled out. So next step, let's drill this thing out. It's gonna be awesome what this thing's gonna be. This is like a big unlock performance thing right here, taking this thing out. It doesn't matter all the mods you do, without taking this out, it's not gonna really make a difference. Alright, so you hook on this plate, and then with a drill, you're gonna drill into this. You should use a vise. For this, I'm not gonna film because anything with drilling, I need all eyes focusing, not recording. And yeah, so you put this in a vise, don't over tighten it, go slow, and then we'll see what happens once I start getting it going. I'll show you guys a little update. Alright, so I pulled out the ribbon. Let's see if we can get some light. Well, I'd use the Dremel to get in there to grind down. I don't know if you can see, but you want to get all the spurs going around here, and then there's this little lip right my finger is pointing at. That's where you want to grind down. But to show you guys what this thing, well, once you get it cut through to where the ribbon is, I use just whatever bolt I found in the garage to pull it straight out. But if you can look, I'll put it up to the light. And let's see. I mean, you can't even see through it. I mean, that's actually, see, I'm trying to put it, yeah, look at that. You can kind of see, but I mean, this is super restricted. It's totally crazy. I'm actually really curious why Yamaha has that in there, but it's pulled out. And once you drill that out, well, first you want to remove this bracket. The brackets here is what was the guide for drilling in here. And you don't want to go like too far. But, you know, you'll feel it when you go drilling through this. I mean, you don't want to push in the drill. You read the instructions. I mean, I really, you know, I just kept going at it, and you can see the plastic. There'll be parts of the plastic, the ring. It's curious, like, to me, is even how they got it molded with this in there. I mean, it just looks like so much work that has something in here, but it would be a lot of airflow coming through. It could be an emissions thing is what I'm guessing, because these all are coming to California emissions, so I guarantee this is probably an emissions thing for California. I may be wrong. Then once you drill or you Dremel all in there, they come with some O-rings, and you'll put all of them on here, and then this plate actually goes inside there. But before you get all that far, you really want to clean out all the specks of stuff out of here way before you even get into that. You want to make sure it's all clean. But even before I go to that part, before I drill anything or Dremel that out, what I'm going to do is for the blow-off valve, because two different mods being done, we'll go into another one. This is the main step. That's why I'm doing it together. You want to drill a hole with the drill bit that I said you use. You tap it, and there'll be the thread. So it goes actually right in there is where that goes. So I'm going to do that step next. That's what's really crucial is, you know, to kind of do it all at once, because technically if you upgrade the intercooler and the piping with it, I'm pretty positive I could get this where I don't have to pull this back off again. So it's like a one-time thing. It's off. Don't have to put it, you know, worry about it. I am going to reuse the stock gaskets. This thing's so new, it'd be silly just to be pulling it out, but I'm actually going to make sure there's no specks of anything in here before I go that far with cleaning. I'll spray air and all that kind of stuff. Make sure everything's cleaned up. And also, too, I didn't pull the gaskets off when I did all this because I was afraid if you pull them off, they might not go back on again. I started pulling one out, I think right here, and then I stopped. Because I thought it's probably a one-time, you know, like, I don't know if you can reuse these again. if you pulled them out. So that's why I left them in. It's a nice gasket too, where you don't actually have to lay it across there. It's really nice. I'm happy. It's very easy to do this. Alright, so I installed the tap right there. That'd be the line it's going to run for the blow-up valve. I already grinded out all inside there. I cleaned out really well. Used like compressed air, or I had one of these around the house that I used it to get everything out. I really cleaned it out really well before I drilled that, where I drilled that and then cleaned it out, and then before I tapped that I made sure I cleaned it all out. Now the next step is this piece is going to go in here, but there's O-rings that come with the kit that you're going to put around that before sticking that in. Okay, so I got that sleeve in there. You use a rubber mallet to hit it in. Don't put the last O-ring on until you're ready to put the throttle body on. I'm just going to wipe this real good and then put the gasket on and then hook the throttle body on next. Alright, got this all assembled. Next step is to be putting the manifold, intake manifold, back into the ski. And then installing all the rest of the remainder stuff back in. And also too, if you've not checked out my Amazon store, it has all different stuff, but I want to showcase if you have tattoos and you have to get in tight places, working on a jet ski, working on a car, whatever it is you want to protect it. These are on my Amazon store under the jet ski riding gear. This is actually a sleeve that has Kevlar in it. It's real thin, but you can actually take a knife to it and it won't scratch it, so I don't have to worry about any of my expensive artwork getting wrecked, working on stuff, tight spaces, fiberglass and all that, grinding, and you know, like when you're in it. Really nice at amazon.com/shop/IamBeowulf. I already got the intake manifold on, torqued it all down. Next thing to do is I got the J tube already connected. Before I tighten down the intake manifold, I just got to tighten down the brackets for the J tube of the bottom part of the intercooler piping. I already connected up with the vacuum line for the blow-off valve. You want to have the filter shoulder side facing this side of the rear of the engine. After I put that in there, tighten that down, the next step will be putting the fuel rail back in. But during that, you don't want to forget, there's a lot of plugs all throughout here that need to be replugged. I'll try zip tying them all once they're all back in there, so I just have enough room to get all this back in. Also too, when you do the intake manifold installing it, you have to put blue Loctite on it, on select different bolts. It is in the instruction manual of what to do, and you should read all that while you're installing this. This video is kind of more to show you like a step-by-step, because these instructions only show like so much. You know, there's a lot of stuff here that I had to do that is not in the install thing that Riva has come out. A lot of stuff people have a shop manual. I haven't ordered a shop manual for this. I don't know, I probably will just to have it, because there's a lot of stuff I like to figure out in this ski, what it is. I mean, I found this thing when I disconnected the battery. I have no clue what that is. I'm very curious to see what that is. It was way at the bottom. It's some type of plug with a cover over it. So let's kind of get it all back together and finish up the install. Alright, so before you tighten down your fuel rail, so you want to make sure every single plug is connected, double check them, then tighten down the fuel rail. Remember, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 small ones right there. Blue Loctite. Then connect the coil packs, connect the fuel injectors, push on the fuel line. Remember, fuel could still come out when you do that. A little couple drops dropped out when I did that. Push it in all the way, put the clip in. There's two little parts of the clip that should go down in there. Also make sure this one that's connected to the valve cover goes running underneath there. And then this is going to run, the vacuum line for this is going to run underneath the fuel rail, so it's kind of pretty much discreet. But the next step is to remove this part of the intercooler piping, because this is where the blow-off valve is connecting. You'll have to remove the stock air intake inlet hose going to the front of the supercharger to get the top of the supercharger intercooler piping out. And that gives you a good idea of seeing what the supercharger looks like. Really like the design where on the Yamaha, so the supercharger's in the front, and Sea-Doo's, the supercharger is right there in the far back. So it gives you a lot of fresh air. When I finally upgrade putting an intake, it'll be soon. It's going to be on the list of something happening soon, but it's not happening in this video. It gets you a little picture too of what the stock intercooler looks like. Let's get this intercooler piping on. Blow-off valve. Alright, so I got the stock air intake tube back on. This was kind of a little pain in the butt to get the bottom one, but it's on. You don't want to over tighten the bottom one because you're reusing the stock clamps from the stock intercooler piping. You want to be like, just take your time. None of this stuff has to be like super tight, because it'll just, the bottom clamp moves. I wrap the whole vacuum line underneath discreetly. Comes up right there. Seeing that it's super late at night, I don't want to be starting this thing up, and plus too that I had little fuel spill in there. Rather have it evaporate, wait till tomorrow to run it. So I'm going to leave the battery disconnected. Obviously I have a fan going in here all the time. Let this thing air out, and then connect the battery back up, and then test everything. Because it's the fuel system that was pulled out, you really want to double check everything, because if you have any type of fuel or a gas leak, it could be bad news. So I want to triple check everything again tomorrow before firing up. It's all gonna be one video. I just need to sleep. Alright guys, it's the next day. Got the battery connected. Double checked everything here. Also too, after you're done installing, give a good yank up on the intercooler piping, because then you'll know if it's really secure on there. You want to make sure that, because the last thing you want to do is be on the water. That gets disconnected. Let's fire it up for the first time. I'm not going to connect the hose. I'm just going to start up, make sure everything sounds right, everything's running, and then we'll do a ride video. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this install video helped you out if you're planning on doing these mods to your Yamaha GP1800R. I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out really nice. It sounds really cool, and if from hearing the clip, man, this thing just sounds like a beast. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Going on right now till September 19th, I have a giveaway. You get a $100 gift card to Riva Racing. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment on the videos. It could be past videos, future videos, existing videos. And on September 19th, I'm going to pick a winner. Good luck at that. Also, too, give me a follow on Instagram. @Beowulf. Also, too, make sure you check out the I Am Beowulf merch at IamBeowulf.com. Got tank tops, t-shirts, hats, and hoodies. Also, too, check out my Amazon store. It's amazon.com/shop/IamBeowulf. It's the end of the video. Be driven to win. Every day is Earth Day. Peace out, Beowulf Nation.